Welcome to the recap of the 2024 covered bond data exercise. I'm Joost, Beaumont, Head of Bank Research at ABN AMRO, but also the Chairman of the Data and Statistics Working Group of the European Covered Bond Council. Before we dive into the key results of the 2024 exercise, I really like to express my thanks to all the people in the industry that helped out. And it was not for nothing, because again, covered bonds reached another record year, with the amount outstanding now being 3.31 trillion, up 1.6% compared to 2023. And it was largely mortgage covered bonds that drove the increase, now totaling more than 3 trillion for the first time ever. The split also shows that mortgage covered bonds account for around 92% of the total market, while public sector covered bonds and ship covered bonds actually slightly declined in importance. Also encouraging news on the liquidity side, as benchmark-sized covered bonds, so publicly placed covered bonds sold to end investors, grew by 55 billion in 2024, reaching the 2 trillion mark. And this is particularly noteworthy given that it's now end investors that need to acquire all the issued covered bonds, given that the euro system left the market in 2023. Then turning to the global split of covered bonds, and again it shows that covered bonds are becoming increasingly a global product, with 333 issuers across 31 countries now being active in the market, and around 11% of covered bonds is now coming from outside of the European Union, and this compares to 6% a decade ago. Notably, Asia Pacific region accounts for around 8% of the market, while North America, which is largely Canada, remains stable at 3%. Then a breakdown by country shows that France is still leading the way in the covered bonds universe, with 502 billion of covered bonds outstanding by the end of 2024. And it's followed by Denmark and Germany, which is a quite stable top three for a while now. Sweden remained in fourth place, and actually the Netherlands, they moved up one rank to take the fifth place in 2024. Looking at the country that made the biggest jump, that's Singapore. It moved up a lot of places to the 17th rank in 2024. Well, then the maturity structure of covered bonds. Of course, in recent years has been a big debate about soft bullet, hard bullet covered bonds, with the European Covered Bond Directive allowing soft bullet structures, issuers and countries embracing this structure. This is also reflected in the annual data exercise, with soft bullet dominance actually gaining pace also in 2024. Around 75% of covered bonds outstanding has a soft bullet structure, and this is up from 71% in 2023. We now turn to the issuance trends in 2024, and following some very strong years of issuance, we saw a decline in issuance of covered bonds, although the number remained relatively large at 533 billion of issuance in 2024, but it was 150 billion less than what we saw in 2023. And this reflects the modest growth in mortgage lending, as well as the strong deposit base of banks, and also a lot of banks repaid in previous years cheap loans that they borrowed during the pandemic, and which were partly financed by issuance of covered bonds. So down but not out, I would say. Mortgage covered bonds issuance amounted to 500 billion, while 32 billion of public sector covered bonds were issued, and this of course translates in a 93% share of mortgage covered bonds in total issuance. Also here, a breakdown by the country shows actually that Danish banks led issuance with 122 billion, followed by France and Germany, the usual top three. Combined, actually, these three countries accounted for approximately half of total issuance, highlighting their dominant role in the covered bond market. And also here, soft bullet structures dominated new issuance, reflecting their growing appeal. 74% was in this format compared to 55% in 2020. And this will also lead to their growing dominance in the coming years. Then we also look at sustainable covered bonds, so covered bonds issued in green or social or sustainability format. And this market also continued to expand rapidly, with 131 billion outstanding by the end of 2024. This is nearly 7 times the volume in 2019, and these bonds now represent 4% of the total market, which is double the share that they had in 2021. By the end of 2024, 82 issuers from 20 countries were active in the sustainable covered bond market, and they issued around 32 billion in 2024, and that was around 6% of the total issuance. And this underscores, of course, the role that covered bonds can also play in the energy transition. Looking ahead to the next year's exercise, it looks still promising. The covered bond market continued to grow at a steady pace in 2025. Net supply was positive in the first half of the year, but it's uncertain whether this will remain the case in the second half. So the jury is still out, and we hope to see you back for another update in a year's time. Thanks for watching.